Welcome back to IT Siders. IT Siders preaching ITIL through knowledge sharing. The objective today is to give you the ITIL approach to application lifecycle. The term lifecycle may be already known by some of you because of the ITIL v3. Here, I will present to you the phases which need to exist in order to build an IT application using what? Using the ITIL practical knowledge. So I will first introduce the application lifecycle and then take you through all of them in detail. Right? So let's go. The first phase in the application lifecycle is to gather the requirements. So I'm gonna write in here for you, requirements. And I'll take you through it now. Requirements. Okay. So what sort of requirements we're talking about in here? There are three sort of requirements that you need to capture from your client. The first one are the functional requirements. Second one, non-functional requirements. And the third one is usability requirements. Okay? Requirements. Okay. So requirements. Okay? Requirements is assessment of the business needs. Here we need to capture those three sort of requirements: non-functional requirements, functional requirements, and usability requirements. The functional requirements, the functional requirements are specific requirements used to support a particular business function. For example, to use an application, the application you're building, the user is requested to put a strong password. So that is a functional requirement. And non-functional requirements are requirements which are more to do with service management. For example, availability, continuity, security, responsiveness. All the service delivery requirements, really, the operational requirements, all of it. Usability is the end user requirements, how to make the application easy to use, how to make the application friendly. It's about the front end, the layout, and etc. So with these requirements captured, you will be able to tell your client the cost and time that the project can be delivered. Do not forget to put together a checklist on how you are going to capture these requirements, because sometimes your users may say, well, it's just 100 transactions, and in the end of the day you discover that it's 10,000 transactions. So log everything when you capture the requirements. Second phase in there is the design. Okay, design. What we talk about design now? Design, well, requirements are translated into codes and features. Okay, the aim of the design here is to deliver upon those requirements. So here we need to remember that design is not only around the application itself, but also around the technology used, the environment where the application is going to be installed, the infrastructure needed, the operational model, how it's going to work. So here the correct interpretation of the requirements is essential to build what is called architect plan, right? So the key word in here is architect plan, right? So these, you need to keep that in your head. Design, again, presenting back the design, its architecture and its operational plan are the best practice to ensure a smooth application build and deployment later on. So it's necessary then in the design to get what? A sign off. Okay, it's necessary to get a sign off on the application design. Why? To avoid frequent changes of requirements during build phase, deployment phase, optimization phase. So the key here is to let the design flexible as well, because also we need to think about the future technologies emerging every day. Yeah, so it's important that the application which is being built accommodate future business requirements, right? So you need to be flexible. Your design needs to be able to integrate with future technologies, right? So that are the keywords of the design. Going through the phase, what's next? The next one is around build. Okay, so I'm going to write in here for you, build. After you get the requirements, after you design, you start building. So what's build? Yeah, this is more known as test phase, right? So a keyword for you here is test phase. Okay. On this phase, a small portion of selected users should test your application, should test its functionalities. Yeah, tests should be made from different perspectives, remember that, from different places, from different roles, from different access. So, and also any integration with third partners or other applications should also be tested here. So I'm going to put here third parties and integration. Yeah, you need to test that as well. And test what? Your infrastructure, not only your application. Infrastructure, integration, third parties, okay? After tests are realized, it's necessary here to build, yeah? It's necessary to build and to capture the user's feedback as well, yeah, and adjust and then to use those feedbacks to adjust on the design where appropriate. Yeah, so ensure everything is tracked, maintained, and updated. Yeah, do not forget to test your infrastructure again, as well as testing only the application itself is not enough. Right, the next phase after build is what? Deploy. You build, you deploy. Right? So deploy. So in the deploy, yeah, in this phase, the operational model is set at the client environment, right? So in the deploy, many organizations have different approaches depending on the size of the application, size of the project. It can be a big bang deployment, it can be a partial implementation, it can be any other sort of possible ways of doing it. So the key point in this step that you need to make notes of is communications. I'll put here as comms, okay? And communication is not part of ITIL, but there are lots of other frameworks that you can find around browsing through the internet that you can make use of, right? But don't forget that on deployment you need a comms framework in place. Also, it's important you know here how to manage expectation from the users. So another keyword here is expectation, right? And also how to manage resistance to change, right? So there are some keywords on the deploy that you cannot forget. Right, after the deploy, what's the next stage then? Operate. So you will operate. Operate. What do you do in this stage? Okay, so let's be clear. Here is the IT delivering the service provided by the application. If the application was designed, built according to the requirements, the operation should not suffer much and users should find themselves happy using the new business application. So here it's important that you start doing what? Measuring the service offered, measuring and gathering the feedback from your users on their experience. So some keywords now for you. Measure, right? Feedback, and users, right? Well, here it's important that you start measuring the service you offered, and again gathering all these feedbacks. Okay, also at this stage you should set relevant key performance indicators to monitor and drive changes into application and services provided. So another keyword for you here is KPI. You need to have your KPIs defined at this phase. Right, the next stage, the last one in here today, is optimize. Optimize. Right, optimize. Sorry, I'm gonna make it. Sometimes we need to make some things perfect, don't we? So sorry for that, but let me write again. Optimize. Optimize. Okay, what do we expect in this phase in here? Okay, optimize. Now that you have all the results and feedback from the application and services, what do we do? So you set the strategy to maintain and improve the service levels, as well as lowering the running and support costs. Okay, so in the optimize you need to, keywords here is strategy, you have to low costs, right, and feedback. Again, feedback. Yeah, remember that, it's very important. Sometimes we may arrive at the conclusion, yeah, after we are operating, we are measuring the KPIs, we are getting the feedback, and we end up knowing that there is a strategy then, because this application is costing so much and is not any more relevant for the business, so we need to retire that application. So sometimes we may arrive at the conclusion that it's necessary to retire the application. But to arrive at that conclusion, my colleague, it's important to have the measures in place. Yeah, just by having the measures in place, then you're going to say, I'm going to retire the application, I don't need the application anymore. You need to have those metrics in place, because that will drive you through the right decisions in doing that. Okay, so optimize is not only about getting the application to go on its best performance, but also thinking strategically on how to bring the costs of support and running the costs of maintain that application. So it's low cost on support and running that application. So if you low costs support and run it, you will optimize the application, and you can just do that by understanding all the other things that are around it here. Right, and optimizing, then you're back to the requirements, new application, new challenge for you. Right, so here is the application life cycle, and on ITIL 3 you will see on the videos that this has lots to do with the V model. Okay, so keep yourself studying, yeah, and if you have any questions, please use the ITSiders forum to drive your questions, to drive your answers, and let's take it from there. All right, more videos to come. Thank you very much for watching ITSiders Preaching ITIL. See you. Bye.